I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind?
There was one moment that felt different recently, not because of a grand stage, nor because of a major release that had been officially announced, but because of a candid confession coming directly from a man known for always giving his all in every step. And when Jungkook began speaking in a deeper, more passionate tone than usual, fans immediately knew this wasn't something small. This wasn't just another project. This was something much bigger, something whose scale even began to feel out of the ordinary. What exactly was Jungkook preparing for that everyone else felt unprepared to keep up with? It all started with a simple moment. No bombastic official announcement, no dramatic teasers like we're used to seeing in the K-pop industry. But precisely from that simplicity, something far more powerful emerged. Jungkook spoke, and the way he spoke this time was different. There was a deeper emotional pressure, an unconcealable passion, and it was as if he himself couldn't wait to see how it all would unfold. He didn't elaborate. There were no concrete details about a release date, no confirmation of the concept, not even a clear indication of what the project would ultimately look like. But that's precisely what made it all feel even bigger. Every sentence was like a tiny fragment of something incredibly complex, a picture that wasn't yet complete, but enough to make everyone realize this wasn't a project created by ordinary standards. Jungkook seemed like someone who wasn't just approaching this project as an artist, but as someone who was truly emotionally and creatively invested. He wasn't just performing, he was creating. He was building something from scratch, with a vision that seemed to go far beyond what we'd seen from him before. And here's where the story began to take a turn. Behind Jungkook's overwhelming enthusiasm came some rather surprising news. That HYBE Corporation, a major agency that has handled numerous massive global projects, was reportedly not yet fully ready to take the leap into the grand concert stage. This wasn't because they weren't capable. Quite the opposite. It was because what they were preparing was deemed too large, too complex, and required far more thorough preparation than usual. Imagine this situation. An artist with a vision moving at breakneck speed, full of ideas, full of ambition, while the system behind it has to work twice as hard to keep up with that rhythm. This isn't a conflict, it's a creative dynamic rarely seen openly. Speculation has begun to abound. Some say this project will bring a major shift in Jungkook's musical concept. Others believe he will explore a completely different style than before, more daring, more experimental, perhaps even more personal. Many also suspect that this project will involve a much more cinematic visual production, something that isn't just heard, but also felt visually and emotionally. If that's true, then it's no wonder HYBE Corporation is taking so long, because this isn't just about writing songs and setting up a stage. It's about creating an experience that must be perfect, an experience that can't be half-baked. But amidst all the speculation, one thing remains the center of attention: Jungkook himself. The way he smiles when talking about this project, the way he chooses his words carefully, yet still can't hide his immense excitement. All of this points to one thing: he truly loves what he's doing. And perhaps this is the version of Jungkook he's always wanted to show the world. Not just as BTS's golden Maknae, but as an artist with his own identity. Someone who dares to take risks. Someone who isn't afraid to surpass expectations. For ARMY, this has been a journey of intense emotion. On the one hand, there's pride in seeing Jungkook continue to grow. On the other, there's a growing curiosity every day. The less that's revealed, the more the curiosity grows. Will this project be a turning point in Jungkook's solo career? Will it set a new standard in the K-pop industry? Or perhaps something we haven't even imagined yet? Clearly, none of this is happening without reason. When an artist like Jungkook shows this much enthusiasm, it means there's something truly worth looking forward to. And just as fans were starting to piece together what Jungkook had just said, the atmosphere grew increasingly heated. Not because of any new rumors, but because the intensity of the energy he radiated continued to increase. The more he spoke, the clearer it became that this project wasn't just a show-off, but a major leap he was taking with complete confidence. Behind the scenes, inside sources began to paint an even more intriguing picture. They said that Jungkook's creative process this time was far more in-depth than on previous projects. He wasn't just participating in discussions, but was truly at the forefront of concept development. He was involved in nearly every detail, from the music selection to the visuals to the choreography to the desired production style. It was as if he was building a new world that truly reflected him. And that world, according to some who had seen early glimpses, was something a Korean artist had never done before. The level of detail was extraordinary. Every element seemed designed to create an experience that combined artistic power, visual intensity, and emotional depth that only world-class creatives could achieve. It's no wonder that an agency as large as HYBE Corporation felt the need to take extra precautions. They weren't just thinking about how to release a work, but how to execute the massive vision Jungkook had so precisely crafted. The massive concert originally planned to accompany this project reportedly underwent several adjustments. This wasn't due to simple technical issues, but rather because Jungkook's requested stage was designed with a much larger and more futuristic concept. A stage that wouldn't just entertain, but would also invite the audience into the world he created. Something that required high-level technology, international coordination, and a global production team. ARMY, of course, immediately sensed this. They were no longer simply waiting for updates, but began to sense that every piece of information that emerged heralded a new chapter in the development of this era. Many said this was the first time they'd seen Jungkook work with such intensity since his early days with BTS. The difference was, now he wasn't working as a rookie following instructions. He was working as a visionary setting a new direction. And the further he went, the greater the expectations placed on him. Interestingly, Jungkook didn't seem the least bit daunted. Quite the opposite, he seemed to relish the pressure. Every time he spoke about this project, he exuded the aura of someone who knew exactly what he was doing and where he wanted to take it. Meanwhile, rumors about the project's concept began to swirl. Some suggested that Jungkook would combine cutting-edge digital technology with intense live performances. Others said the music video would feature blockbuster-grade cinematography. And most surprising of all, some reports claimed he was preparing an unprecedented international collaboration, partnering with global creators who had never been involved with a Korean artist's project before. If all of this were true, then it was no wonder everything felt like it was moving at a slower pace. This wasn't about delays, but about refinement. Jungkook was building something too big to rush, and HYBE was laying the groundwork for every detail to be perfectly realized. Armies were discussing it day and night, guessing where this project was headed, deciphering every little clue Jungkook might have intentionally or unintentionally left behind. And the more they discovered, the greater their awe. Because ultimately, this wasn't just about waiting for new work. It's about waiting for the birth of an era that will perhaps redefine what a solo artist can do on the international stage. An era that will prove that Jungkook is not just a performer, but a creative architect with limitless ambition. And when that day comes, when the stage lights first come on, when the music first swells, when the world finally sees what he's been building with all his heart, everyone will realize that this long journey is more than just hype. This is history being written step by step, and Jungkook is right at the center of it.